My name is Jillian. Welcome to the Mid-Year Freakout Tag. What is the best book that I have read in 2022? The Boys in the Boat by Daniel James Brown. This is a nonfiction account of the crew team that won gold in 1936 in the Berlin Olympics. It is a tale of grit and determination. These boys came from very humble backgrounds. The storytelling in this book is outstanding. I absolutely want to read more from Daniel James Brown because he was really able to grip me in this story, just pull me in, and even though I knew what the ultimate outcome was going to be, I was on the edge of my seat. You know that is a good author. The best sequel that I have read in 2022 is The Wingfeather Saga by Andrew Peterson, and the second book in that is called North or Be Eaten. The story is essentially a coming-of-age story. It follows three children. They live with their mother and their grandfather in this mystical land with all of these crazy creatures, things like dragons and creatures that you have never heard of. It's an epic journey where they learn a lot about themselves. When I read the first book, there was a whole lot of world building. That is not my favorite thing in the world. I got to the end of it and I did not think that I wanted to continue on with the series. One of my sons convinced me we needed to keep reading, and I'm really glad that we did because the second one was my favorite in the series so far. Andrew Peterson is a great storyteller. From what I have read of his, he's really been able to create this fairy tale type world. It's very, very far removed from current day, and I really, really like that. A new release that I have not yet read that I'm really excited to is The Facemaker by Lindsay Fitzharris. This is a nonfiction account of a visionary surgeon who helped to fix the faces of the injured soldiers during World War I. It tells the story of how medicine can be art and also what courage and imagination can accomplish in the face of horrific things. My most anticipated release for the second half of the year, I don't know. I looked up a few of my favorite authors and I didn't see that they were releasing anything in the second half of the year. For now, I'm going to pass on this one. Later on, I'll see what all the other booktubers are saying and then I will take my cues from them. My biggest disappointment of the year so far. Okay, so this is going to be a controversial opinion, I think. I DNF'd a book that is really, really popular on Booktube, Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It wasn't really a conscious decision. I had it on loan from the library as an audiobook. I did intend to finish it, but I was taking so long to get through this book. It expired, the library took it back. I heard that the audiobook was really the way to go in this one because it is done by a full cast and it's done in an interview style. I don't know, maybe I should read a physical copy rather than listen to it. I'm certain that there are some fans of this book out there who will watch this video, and I would love to know, should I try to listen again? Should I try to read a physical copy? Does it get better? Were you hooked right from the beginning? I'm trying to figure out what it was that happened to me and if I should just kind of push through. I don't generally like to DNF things because I always feel like it's going to get better. Let me know your thoughts on this. I'd really like to hear what you recommend. My biggest surprise so far of the year has been Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I am not somebody who reads a lot of science fiction. Essentially, in this book, you are following Ryland Grace. He is on this mission to save Earth. When you first come to know him, he is waking up in a spaceship. He doesn't even remember what his name is. He doesn't even know what his mission is. He's got 2 corpses for crewmates. It is a crazy story. It is fast-paced. Had I known any more, I really don't think that I would have picked this up because you know how you have a certain idea of what you like and what you don't like? Well, this sort of thing fits into the camp of things that I did not think that I enjoyed. But I really did, and so I'm so happy that I gave it a try. It's been my biggest surprise, hands down. Favorite new author of this year? I think my answer is going to be Daniel James Brown, the one who wrote The Boys in the Boat. He is the author that I am most excited about, but I feel a little bit funny answering him as my favorite author just because I've only read the one book by him. I just found his ability to write nonfiction to be very engaging, very compelling. He really pulled me into the story, and he's written a number of other books. There's one that he wrote about the Donner Party that I've got my eye on. My newest fictional crush. I can't really say that I have one. Don't get me wrong, I have had them in the past, but nobody is jumping out at me right now. If I were forced to choose somebody, I think I would probably choose Mark Watney or Ryland Grace. They're very, very similar, so you could kind of just put them together. They're very witty, science-driven, smart, and caring. My favorite new character, this is going to be Riprid, who is a rat. He's in the Gregor the Overlander series by Suzanne Collins. I like him because he's not what you think at first glance. His character was really what saved that series for me. In case you're not familiar with it, Suzanne Collins is the author who wrote The Hunger Games, and the Gregor the Overlander series is a middle grade fantasy series. We're following Gregor and his little sister. They end up falling down this portal, this doorway in their laundry room in New York City, and they find themselves in a place called the Underland, where there are these people called Underlanders and all sorts of creatures who are quite large. Of course, epic battles ensue. If not for Riprid, I'm not really sure that I would have enjoyed the series that much. Hunger Games was far, far better in my mind. A book that made me cry is Atonement by Ian McEwan. In this, we are following Bryony. She is a young girl with this crazy imagination. She sees a romantic encounter between her sister and a young man, and she misconstrues it in her mind. She doesn't know what she saw. When she sees this encounter, her imagination goes wild. It precipitates this whole series of events. The book really made me think about perspective and being careful about what you think you see. It was a really heartbreaking book. Definitely made me cry. A book that made me happy is A Pinch of Magic by Michelle Harrison. So this is another middle grade book, and it is following three sisters who are trying to break a curse. I really enjoyed the characters in this, especially the grandmother. I expected the book to be light, but it had a lot of darkness in it, which I greatly enjoyed. The illustrations on the cover in particular are beautifully done. That is one of the reasons that I get this happy feeling when I think about that particular series, is the bright and beautiful illustrations on the cover. Most beautiful book that I have purchased or received. This one is catching my eye as something that's making me excited to read it. It is Untamed by Glennon Doyle. It just looks like this beautiful paint in all different colors swirling together. It's a memoir about Glennon Doyle deciding to live her true, authentic self rather than what society has been pushing her to be for her whole life. And finally, what books do I need to read by the end of the year? The one book that I'm slated to read is The House in the Strand by Daphne du Maurier. I'm reading this with Teacup the Storyteller. We were supposed to read it in June, but it has gotten pushed to July because life is busy. I'm very much looking forward to it because Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier was one of the standout books for me in 2021. That is all for now. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.